down to Avali May and the Team Liquid jungler.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Smithy. Congratulations on your win against Clutch Gaming. And I want to ask you, what was the game plan going into this match?
I don't think we have any specific game plan for pretty much any team. We just play our own game, and yeah, like everyone just communicated really well during this game, and we played pretty cleanly.
What do you think was your winning factor then?
Winning factor was just, I guess like this game was just like everyone was like collapsing really well. So like if they invaded our jungle, if they wanted to fight, we were always like our team was always ahead, and like we just countered their play.
Now around this time last year, it was the rebirth of Xmithy. Everyone had their eyes on you. See you rolling your eyes, but trust me, everyone was going crazy for you on Immortals. Now that you're on a team filled with all of these superstars, how does that compare?
I guess like this team, I kind of take like a backseat role since like everyone's really vocal in this team, and I don't have to speak out loud like much more than I used to in Immortals. And it's like a good and bad, I guess, because sometimes I want to do more, like sometimes I want to do less. It's just like, I guess it's like a good in between for this team.
Well, having played together, you've now both won and lost the game from yesterday. How does Team Liquid handle a loss and turn it into a win the next day?
For our first loss, I'm actually surprised that our team like took it really well. Like everyone was really positive that we learned a lot. Let's do better next time. And yeah, we learned a lot. We did like a few hours of talking, and then yeah, we figured out what we did wrong and what we can do better.
Well, congratulations again on your win, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And to wrap up the day, let's go back to our analyst desk.
Thank you very much. Obviously, Team Liquid picking up a win here, but we set it up to be a bot lane focused game. That's where all the attention was going to go, and in a way it was, but to me, I feel like only one team was aware of that fact.
And they won.
And that team won the game.
Yeah, because we have done this. We did one of these yesterday where we compared Huni versus Licorice. That's kind of irrelevant in this game because we had a Doublelift and all of Team Liquid against Hakuho and
was not a
Apollo.
2v2.
Yeah, and just to talk about this draft a little bit, one team clearly was drafting for what was a 1-3-1, and the other team was drafting to smash bottom lane.
Yeah, so obviously there's all three picks of solo laners and jungle on the top side of the map for Envy, or excuse me, Clutch Gaming, and so they're leaving their bot lane. Yeah, it happens. And then they're leaving their last picks to grab their bot lane, and Team Liquid's like, great, we're gonna keep throwing bans at them. You think you have Gnar versus GP, and you should probably get up there sometimes to gank it, but on the flip side, the bot lane is gonna get heavily focused.
Yeah, and look at the bans from Team Liquid. It's a Varus, a Kog'Maw, and an Ezreal, so they're stuck on Caitlyn, and they decide to do this lane pressure strat with the double unsealed spellbook. It just doesn't work out.
Right, that's to your point of like, the bot lane focus began in Champions like by pinching Apollo down onto the Caitlyn. Caitlyn, along with Braum, they take that unsealed spellbook kind of duo that we've seen for C9. How is this supposed to work?
I mean, just in terms of the matchup, it's not even like that great because Taric will be able to heal out a lot of that sustain that you just have through having the fleet footwork for Doublelift.
And you can see specifically with the unsealed spellbook on the AD carry, when we saw C9 and some other teams do this properly, it's when your top side is strong and your bot side is neutralized. Because then you can use the TP on the AD carry or the support to augment the strength of that other side. But as we see here, Team Liquid just took all crush lane masteries right there, as well as brought the whole team down bottom. So those guys with all these utility spells just got crushed.
Well, yeah, having utility and trying to play a tempo game is impossible if you're on the gray screen. Right, and that's essentially the approach that Team Liquid took, is saying, hey, fine, if they're going to let us push them in, then let's just dive them under turret and make this even more a winning matchup for us.
And this is absolutely a situation where Team Liquid's jungle mid coordinated a lot better on what they wanted to do this game, because Smithy went down there early on, Doublelift jumps in, getting aggressive, starts blowing summoners from the very get-go of this game, basically, and they didn't let up the entire time. They keep jumping in aggressively after they get this flash.
Here's a taste of the dogpiling that took place in the bot lane.
Exactly, and notice this is never a 2v2. This is almost always a 3v2, a 4v2, or a 5v2 if you're counting the Gangplank Ultimate, especially this one. That is 5 people contributing, to just the 2 members of Clutch. Apollo's like, guys, I made it away. Nope. Didn't.
Flashed into it.
Right there.
Oh,
it actually does more damage from the move speed of hitting the flash into the bullet. Yeah.
Oh, that was hard to watch.
Exponential growth for Team Liquid's gold graph. And, first solo, he did a good job generating a substantial CS advantage in the top lane versus Impact's GP. But Lyra dying in the jungle off some just suspect invades, his bot lane getting crushed, creating a bit of a power vacuum, so no one could ever get up to help him blow that game open through the top lane advantage.
Exactly. A lot of blame does have to go onto Lyra for this because both teams did choose very different strategies. And the counter to someone dogpiling bot lane is to then crush the other side of the map or be in place to do it in the first place. But with WTP, that's actually going to be just systematically weaker.
Right.
And the fact that Lyra was just kind of dying in random places made the dives that TL sent bottom lane unpunished.
Yeah. That much more effective because there's no response, either by counter ganking or by making a play happen elsewhere on the map. For Team Liquid, when they're winning, damn, they look good so far. I mean, that's the thing, though, right? It's when they're winning. They've had a couple come-behinds as well, but in their 3 victories, they've looked damn good.
I think they've shown potentially the best understanding, along with Echo Fox, of how to close a game out when they have a lead. And you can see that kind of built-in synergy from Ole, Smithy, knowing, like, let's grab this Rift Herald next, let's use it this way, let's keep pushing our advantages harder. And that's why they look so dominant in their wins. They have stalled out a couple times when they don't get the advantage right away, or if the mid-game comes around without a clear advantage for Doublelift or something. But when Doublelift is ahead, this team is rolling.
And that's their main strength, is when they get bot lane ahead, they crush. I actually feel like the other lanes haven't done a huge amount other than any little advantage they have. They just send it bottom lane over and over. So that part of the game, they have been the best in the LCS.
Flip side for Clutch Gaming, it's going to be a tough loss to stomach, kind of for that reason, where I'm sure Lyra, as an individual performer who's expected to be, near that top of the jungle, rankings here in North America, this was C, D- performance. I don't even know.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had that stat at the start of the day, how he was one of the lowest in CSD, but a lot of times it was kind of forgivable, where he's like playing Eve and getting heavily focused, or CLG is doing a bit of a cheesy level 1 to get it to take E on Zach, and then they're punishing him. This was one where he did not have any net disadvantage starting, and he just threw it away.
Right, and isn't that crazy? Because at the top of the, or rather, coming into this game, you had pointed out we've been doing so much talking about Lyra and Febivin and this duo and what they can do for the team, and then hey, they've shown us some pretty sweet stuff, and then the moment we swap the focus elsewhere, they seem to have fallen apart a little bit.
Sweet Saturdays, really sad Sundays.
I guess.
Both these times, Lyra and Febivin have smashed in their first game of the week, and that's completely coincidental, I feel like. It just does speak to some huge inconsistencies, though, in those two being able to take over the game.
I think inconsistent is the right word. They did turn a couple ganks in the mid lane. Pobelter tried to outplay him and couldn't, but you have to stay within the realm of not inting while you're doing that.
Not inting is a good strategy in League of Legends. Now, there were plenty of S-tier performances this week, but there are only 5 spots in the OP5, so this week's OP5 are Darshan, Dardoch, Phoenix, Sneaky, and Smoothie. First up in the top lane, CLG's Darshan.
Yeah, interesting picking the OP5 for us this week as well, because only one team went undefeated, and that was Echo Fox. But Darshan was smashing in the game they lost against Clutch, and then went unkilled in this really long game against Golden Guardians, where he was the one clutching out a lot of those plays at the end of the game.
It's a situation where a lot of top laners had things working for and against them. Good laning phases turned into bad team fighting. Bad early lanes turned into good team fighting. Yeah. And then the one consistent player that we could identify was Darshan, despite the fact that his team around him is very, very inconsistent.
Right, yeah. It was a tight conversation there, though, for top laners. Moving right along to the jungle, we find Echo Fox's Dardoch.
Much easier conversation to have.
He's amazing so far in the split. This is...
Zach.
Like, take the Dardoch that was rookie of the split 2 years ago and be like, I wonder where he'll be in 2 years, like before all the toxicity and switching teams.
This is
like,
where you would want.
Yeah, man, he'd be crushing the NA LCS. That's what he's doing right now. So the first 2 weeks of this split feel like Dardoch finally starting to live up to some of that potential. We've seen it before, but he definitely played great this
2
week.
years later, off the Lee Sin, onto the Zach. That's what you want to see for career growth. Just learn tanks. There you go.
Man, I love it. I love it. I also actually really love that soundbite, though, where it seems like this whole idea of toxicity, the toxic team, seems to be unifying
pulling them together,
It's
man.
unifying them. It's banding them together. You heard that, like, oh, if we huddled like that, we'd all be in a fist fight. I love that they're using it as a unifying sentiment. Moving right along to the mid lane, we find Fox's Phoenix.
He is a player who has a hard time shining on his team because you have Dardoch and Huni who are a bit of attention grabbers. But over the course of the weekend, and even last weekend, he's put in really, really amazing performances in the game versus C9 when it was really back and forth. His team fighting won them that game in a lot of ways, as well as later on in the games today. Another huge performance for him.
Jad, this is going to open up conversations about what happens when Fly oh, sorry, wrong team. What am I thinking?
Well, you're thinking because they actually switched out Challenger teams last year. Phoenix was playing in Challenger, and then Fly came.
And here he is up, yeah.
And Phoenix had kind of disappeared off the face of the LCS Earth. Now he's back performing, which is impressive.
Yeah, very much so. In the bot lane, we have both C9 members, Sneaky and Smoothie.
We talk a lot about Licorice this week and how much focus he was getting with all his counter picks, but a lot of that was made possible and successful due to the fact that Smoothie and Sneaky were stepping up in the bot lane, winning their laning phase, and then rotating onto the map, getting these good unsealed spellbook teleports in, as well as just great Taric ultimates out of Smoothie to save and keep things alive. Yeah,
going double unsealed spellbook in the bottom lane, as these guys did, is actually harder to lane with than going with something like Fleet Footwork. So the fact that they split lanes and then were still able to teleport means they were playing really well in those lanes.
Good on them there. Any more discussions around these players that you guys want to have?
No, I just think that Smoothie was clearly performing as the best support this game, or this weekend. The flash forward on Taric to get the ultimate onto his jungler was just a beautiful play and really heads up, which is what we want to see more about of him.
Please, 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 more epic plays. With our Game 5 in the books, let's take a look at the standings. The Echo Fox stock continues to rise as they end week 2 in first at 4.
Scary little day for them, though.
It was a scary day. 100 Thieves, Cloud9, Team Liquid end the day in second, leaving CLG, Optic Gaming, and TSM at 7th. In 1 and 3 score lines. Now let's pull up your predictions to see how things shook out for you this week. And the totals, Mark, pulling ahead by 1 here. Jad, how you feeling about your performance today?
Dude, I'm really salty still.
That game 1?
About that game 1,
buddy.
TSM had such a big gold lead.
TSM?
Yeah,
I know. I kept picking teams that weren't good at killing the Nexus, but were good at other things, and just expected them to kill the Nexus for some reason.
The
Optic pick, though,
I was about to say, Optic FlyQuest was a very close game.
I have to tip my cap there to him, and 1 game is not a substantial lead. He was up on me 1 game at the end of last weekend. Now I'm up 1 game, we'll see.
What if I just said I was better in best of 3s? Better at predicting best of 3s?
Well, I mean, there's no best of 3s anymore. You have best of 5s and best of 1s. It's a useless skill set.
I don't know what that means, Jad. I don't know. What do you want, an award?
Yeah, G2 said they were better in best of 5s, and it excused all the losses they'd have in best of 3s. Can I do that with predictions?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
All right.
I'll let you claim anything you want to claim,
better
Jad.
Look, series play.
This is a platform. There's a camera. You have a mic. Say whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Making great usage of that power right there. That's a great use of it.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Moving on.
I'm only down 1 game.
Jad, stop it. Yes. Right now.
I win every series. I've been 3-2 every day. I've always won the best of 5.
Yeah, you're in last place.
I've always won the best.
You're in last place.
The coin is in last place, Dad. The coin is 0 and 5.
No, I didn't see the coin on the graphic.
I win best of 7s. Can I say?
All right, I'm putting a stop to this. We're going to move on throughout the weekend. We've been combing through the Twitterverse to see what epic moments you called out. So let's pull up this week's LCS Big Plays, brought to you by Acer Predator. First up, Shane Miles reached for the easy pun and called Febiven's pentakill what it was. Clutch.
And there's the kill onto Biocross. Double kill so far with the Azir. Pops the hourglass to buy a few more seconds. Starstron, so it gets bounced up and taken down. 3 kills already for Azir. Ooh, onto the back line.
This could be a penta.
This could be number 4.
This could be the penta.
On towards Rain over the bind is there. Give it to him. He deserves it. And the penta kill for Febiven.
Sejuani coming, okay? Sejuani here. Sejuani knows. Go Jace, go Jace. Go Jace. Get the penta, get the penta, get the penta. Penta.
Like how the team handed over the penta right there as far as building teamwork, but also the ultimate timing of him to have it that late in the fight, I think is what surprised COG, whether or not you argue about whether or not they should have gone in there.
Right, but that's an entirely a solo queue moment when like you've seen a 30-second skirmish and you show up to it and you're like, there's no way anyone has any of their cooldowns left. I'm just gonna go all in and wait, he still has his ultimate. Are you kidding me? All right, next up, Arizo had caps lock engaged for the Echo Fox jungler's ult prediction. Let's take a look.
Grish, getting hit up, they'll be able to.
Oh my God!
No way, Dardoch! The Arctic Assault prediction onto Licorice.
Okay, I'm moving to Jace. Jace. He might have no. Oh, nice. Nice. Go to the, yeah, pressure Nash.
I love how the whole the communication system goes from like information to whoa.
Yeah.
I like Driv's call. He had the diction on prediction to make it super clean.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just impressed me.
I don't know.
Maybe that's the vocal theater side of
I like the
my
ultimate
personality.
Yeah,
Guys was
Flash
all into
prediction.
that. All right, keep tweeting your favorite moments throughout the split by using the hashtag NALCS so we can hype, or rather share your hype moments throughout the broadcast. That's going to do it for us here. Let's send it over to Freak, Kobe, and Zyrene for NALCS tonight. That's a lot of letters where they'll review this week's games and look towards next week's matchups.